And the set time will be when I ever feel that this is my last stage in politics. I would give that story, and after serving in whatever office God asks me to serve, I will then retire from politics. That story is about father. My father was a lover of Jerry Rawlings. Those days in our room, you will find our calendar will be Rawlings. You remember? Even the curtains, if my father had an opportunity, he would put Rawlings' pictures on them. The chair of my father, behind it, was a big picture of Jerry Rawlings. And so anytime my father sits down, it was as though he was appointed a minister at the time, where he had Rawlings' picture behind him. My father loved Rawlings so much to the core that all he ever wished was to shake hands with Jerry Rawlings. One day, there was a program in Tamale. And in fact, after that program, they used to call them district directors. I think they are DCs. But those times, they were not called DCs. District secretaries. There was this man in Tamale. He was a district secretary. Maybe the high table, some will know him. He's called Gurgulana, Alaji AMD Samti Ibrahima. He was a district secretary at the time. And then right after that program, on their way home, they had an accident. And so they rushed them to the Damango District Hospital. The program was, I think, in Wa, so they were returning. My mother was a matron, so my mother was asked to cook for them. Rawlings got the news and said he couldn't go to Accra, and so he wanted to pass by the hospital, visit them, and point leaving for Accra. Then my mother called my father and said, "Today I am the caterer for those who had an accident. Rawlings shall be passing by, so you come to the hospital. When Rawlings greets me, I'll tell him that my husband also wants to shake hands with him." So my father left the house, and then on his motorbike, he got to the hospital. So Rawlings shook hands and shook hands and shook hands, and got to my mother and shook her hand. And my mother said, "Oh, my husband is here, he wants to greet you." And Rawlings said, "Oh, let him come." So Rawlings shook the hands of my father. Ladies and gentlemen, even 10 years after, my father will still tell you how the palm of Rawlings felt. And I know if my dad had an opportunity, he would never wash that hand. He shook Rawlings. Unfortunately, it was the right hand, so he will have to wash it before eating. Many years after, my father naturally became a supporter, a sponsor of the NDC in his own small way. I remember there were times there was supposed to be a rally, and when they are contributing in the constituency, they will call my father. Even if it was his last goods, he will sell just to give the money to them. So they have the program, he will do it. My father supported the party until one day John Mahama also became vice president, and Atamils was president. He never met any of them. When John Mahama became president in 2012, my father said yes, he had shook the hands of President Rawlings, but one last person he wants to shake hands with is John Dramani Mahama. Unfortunately, my father passed on in 2014. After all the sacrifices he had done to the party, he never had an opportunity of shaking the hands of John Mahama. At that time, I didn't even know what my fate was, because I was a young boy growing up. Fast forward, in 2016, 2017, after NDC had lost, went for a program in Damango, and I was seated there, an innocent boy from nowhere. Then President Mahama was on the dais. From nowhere, he just pointed at me and he said, "Young man, come." Then I came. Then he said, "What is your name?" I said, "My name is Malik." He says, "Oh, okay. I like you. Oh, what school do you attend?" I said, "Oh, I'm at the University of Ghana." "Okay. I think I like you. Are you into politics?" I said, "Yes, I do student politics." He said, "Okay. So you'll be my friend." I said, "Okay, sir." I didn't know what that actually meant. Then in 2018, I was there one day when his ADC, DSP James, called me and said, President Mahama says I should go and contest for a position in the Northern region. So I went and I picked forms to contest for Deputy Northern Regional Communications Officer. Some way, somehow, I just won. And that was the beginning of marvelous things. Fast forward, I became the Savannah Regional Communications Officer. After they split the regions, President Mahama says, oh, come to Savannah and become the substantive communications officer. I moved there. Then, after that, national elections came. Today, my very big brother, Honorable CD, who I didn't even know was part of the committee that were recommending me in the last elections for another position, not even deputy communication, was just telling me today. Of course, I had the information because I was told to contest for that position, and I refused. And I said I wanted to go for Deputy National Communications Officer. Honorable CD was just reminding me today. And then things have been working that way. And today, yesterday, I was walking on the streets of Dubai, Al Rega, and somebody shouted from the car, Basintale. I said, hey, a poor boy from the north. It was not even a Ghanaian. I was flying, I flew into the country with Mugabe. One got to Ethiopia. 2 guys from Kenya came to hug me. They said, we see you on TikTok. Yes, and Mugabe was surprised. And I told Mugabe, so then let me contest election in Kenya. I'm giving this story so you know what the little seeds we sow could be effective, not just in our lives, but in the lives of our descendants. I know that there is nothing special about me, and there's nothing special that keeps me moving. It is simply the grace of God and the seeds that we sowed by my father many years ago. My father sowed a lot of seeds in the party. But sometimes, if you looked at the benefits he had from the party before he passed on, it was really, really sad. But I see the benefits today. And I see that my life today transforms because of the seeds my father sowed. I looked on the sheet that was given to me, and they said I was supposed to raise funds. I don't think that if 8 years of this inept, corrupt Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is not enough to convince you to support a good cause like that of John Dramani Mahama, then I don't think I can use 25 minutes to donate. And so I'm not an expert in fundraisings, but I know that 25 minutes cannot convince you if you've not been convinced after 8 years. This may be the shortest fundraising ever in the history of Ghana, and I want to set that record. So I'm doing a very short ceremony. I'm turning it up.